Merry Christmas. Merry, Merry Christmas. Glædelig jul. This is the final video of a series of 24 videos. I've never made so much content on English, and there will in each video be so many tips that you can benefit from moving forward. Hi Martin, glædelig jul. Martin, you're in the neighbor city, Kolding. I wish you a Merry Christmas, and to Yasmin as well. So this is the final video of this year's Spiritual Christmas calendar. I've shared to you what this entire year has been about. It's been about ups and downs, not because you did something wrong, or nor did I do something wrong. What does it say? I can't say your name. Arik. I can't say your name because I think it's from Greenland, but I'm not sure. Og CK Malling, velkommen til dig. So this year, you and I were very much being confronted with the past version of ourselves. And connected to that part version of you and me, there's a lot of unhealthy patterns. But do remember that these videos are primarily for women who are like me, with a big heart that's sometimes too big for this life. Women who can be a softie, who is sometimes too forgiving. I used to be, perhaps like you, a pleaser, self-sacrificing. There was some submissiveness, eager to help and serve and to be there for others. Yet we have a wrong picker, because we forget that it's our needs first. Because a lovely soul was watching here yesterday, and he said, thank you for reminding me I can be selfish. And no. There's the attending to our own needs as women. It's not the same for men. We're completely different built. Most men are this selfish, and most of we women are this selfish. So you men should be giving 80% to others, to your wife, to your children, to your family, and give 20 to yourself. And we women should give the 80% to ourselves and only 20 to others. You men, hi Sabine, you men are created to give. We have become like men, giving to others, but we need the other way around. We need to attend to our own needs. So men, please don't see these videos as they are for you and you need to put 80% into you, when most of you is already doing that at the expense of the relationships with your wife and your partners. Most men have their awareness out here. And no, it's the other way around. Most men have the awareness in here in relation to me. And many women have their attention out here focused on we, giving, caring. More money, most of the times, more money in the hands of men will give them more power, more influence, and more money to gain more power and more influence for themselves. Whereas women, when we get money, we will create a better, healthier, loving world for all of us, not just ourselves. So men, please don't watch these videos and see them as, yeah, you can be more selfish than you already are, because that's not okay. We are all here to be a part of creating a healthier, better, more loving world for all of us. And don't I look not pretty today? My hair is still wet. No, there is still a cast in it from the mousse. I'm not going to take it out because I'm going to look like a fart. So this year was about making huge inner changes, huge inner adjustments, and looking at why did I pull in these people who exploited, is that the word? Who used my goodness and kindness against me. They do that when we women haven't aligned our inner self, adjusted our inner compass, and when we're not completely grounded with clear boundaries. So this year was a 9 year, which is very much about inner leadership, inner authority, inner boundaries, and making sure that we, how do you say that? Yder os selv retfærdighed. How the fuck do you say that in English? So that we make sure that we practice justice towards ourselves. That's what we women need to learn. I've just had 2 female clients going through a horrible divorce, having been married to men who manipulated them, who had ghosted them and stonewalled them, were narcissists and psychopaths. And I'm not saying this is all men, but every man has an inner narcissist. Someone also has the covered narcissist. I'm a good guy. No, you're not. You're not a good guy because you tell yourself to. And always a woman, I'm a good woman. No, you're not, because otherwise you wouldn't say it. I won't even say it because I'm not always perfect, for fuck's sake. But what these women, with the help from me, got to see was that when we are our submissive self, the self-sacrificer, the pleasing, the small self, who's got blindfolders for in front of our eyes, and if a woman especially married her own father, we've got some inner work to do to take back the power, not to use it against others like the unhealthy men and masculine does. This year was about taking back the power. This is so much being summed up what 2025 was about. Taking back the power, taking the responsibility home. Someone abused me. Oh, there. Someone abused me. Yeah, but what's at the other side of that stick? Your lack of boundaries. I can say these men that I had as a client this fall were close, they were distant. I hit a wall with them, they were unpleasant. And then I looked at the other end of the stick. Me being not a softie, because you wouldn't know me and say that, but a too big of a softness within me that I wanted to work. But let's say you and I enter a relationship. Shouldn't it be equal? Also, it's a partnership or collaboration. We should both want it to get to work. We should both be just as equally committed. Like one client said to me, fix me, and I said for the 20th time, I do not fix people. I do not fix people. You take responsibility for what is your unhealthy, self-destructive behavioral patterns. Yeah, but I have a psychologist as a wife, so I'm quite safe. And I said, yeah, she's probably using all her psychological skills to maneuver around all your demons. You're not safe or spared because you have a wife who's a psychologist. It just requires much more effort from her to navigate through all that is yours. And those who are struggling the most these years, that's the masculine. And the unhealthy masculine and the unhealthy too feminine, being too soft. We have to make that alignment and bring balance to it. Hi Luna. Glædelig jul. It itches when your hair is wet, and this is polyester. It itches. I hate wearing something on my head, even though I'm a soldier. So this is the final video, and I'm gonna introduce myself for the final time. I am Zanne, from the creator of Warriorsheart.dk, hjertekriger.dk in Danish. I've created my own spiritual teaching institute, training my own holistic health experts, teaching them how to do what I have specialized myself in, being a karmic and as well as traumatic liberator. I'm a karmic liberator, which means I can go out to your past lives, see what's out there, and release all those, hi Miles, release all those karmic imprints that you're carrying with you. And those two women I've helped this week who are going through a horrible divorce, I first and foremost had to release these women of the men from their unhealthy, toxic masculine influence. I had to remove all that trauma they had caused in these women. That was the first thing I had to do before asking questions about house, home, future, and stuff like that. This fall has been overwhelming for many of us, even for me who has the largest toolbox, because I have chosen to become someone else, a new version of myself that is so far away from the Zanne I used to worry that I can barely find my footing over here. So as I told you yesterday, I'm grieving for what that happened. I'm grieving the old Zanne that I let go of. I'm grieving of the life that I never had. And I have not yet caught the hook to the new so that I feel happy and loving and excited again, but it's slowly getting there. Christmases are always a inner death journey as well as Easter. But this fall, November and December, but it already started in September, we had the biggest change going on in this lifetime for all of us, even those from the 40s and 30s. It's the biggest change ever. And it won't happen in this lifetime again. This shift, this change, this upgrade we're going through, all the skeletons are being thrown out of the closet. Everyone that has been hiding in the shades is coming out into the lightness. And you need to make sure you have a purpose, so you stay on track. So you might fall, but you've got your North Star, which is your purpose. And now starts the invitation from me, because I have created, it's in here, it's not on paper yet or online. I've created the Become Your Purpose journey that begins at maybe in the middle of January or the end of January. Become Your Purpose has a headline called Audacity and BRAVERY, rather than being the polite, rather than being stuck or imprisoned by politeness and kindness. Because a big heart, we're not getting rewarded for having a big heart. We're not being rewarded for being the nice girl. We're not being rewarded for always doing the same thing, being kind, being caring, being forgiving, being patient. So I want to practice these two words, the headline, audacity and bravery, rather than being a softie or suffering from the softie and nice girl syndrome. I'm embarking myself upon that journey, and I would love for some of you to join me on that. It's going to be a huge online spiritual universe that I'm creating in English rather than in Danish, but I have many online courses in Danish if you want to know what is your purpose, what is the challenges that you've had with your family, how do you increase your health. I have many online programs in Danish, and now I'm embarking on a journey where it will be in English. How perfectly imperfect that will turn out. It's Christmas. I don't believe in the false narratives about Jesus and Mary. I believe in Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Mother Mary and Father Joseph. I do believe in that, but the tales of them I don't believe in. But I do believe that Christmas should be about love and appreciation. So to the best that I can, despite being alone, I'm trying to navigate in those inner emotions and unfold them, the feelings of appreciation and love, and especially care and love and nurture for myself, for the person that I have chosen to become despite of. I was once the toxic masculine. I was once the girl sitting in a wheelchair. The doctors say, Zanne, you will never be able to stretch your arms or legs again. I can, see, I can, my knees as well. Zanne, you will never ever be able to, I can, see, I can, my knees as well. Zanne, you will never ever be able to, I can, see, I can, my knees as well. Zanne, you will never ever be able to, 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 Zan You will never ever be able to go skiing again, running in terrain, do martial arts, or overstretch your knees and arms so you will gain the same power as before. But I have, is my body, my choice. And that's 20 years ago. I was at the edge of developing cancer, but with my psychic X-ray abilities, I saw it and I removed the trauma. I have released myself more than 50 traumas from my inner body. I've released all the karmic imprint and ancestral trauma and karma. That is my specialty, doing that today, cutting the ties to the past and setting you and me free. I was at the edge of also developing many autoimmune diseases in my mid-20s when I was full-time working as a soldier. I was scratching and itching and I couldn't lose weight despite training 6 days per week, 2 times per day. I couldn't lose weight. One thing is I was stressed and overloaded and overworked and filled up with trauma, and I self-sacrificed myself. I numbed myself with food. I had 2 eating disorders at the time. But just making the little changes that made me, I made little changes in my diet, well, big ones. I started following the blood type lifestyle. I don't call it a diet. And then hi Linda. And then I followed the eat right for your type, fit for life. And then came, many years later, Anthony William, and then came intermittent fasting. So 23 years ago, I started following a anti-inflammatory, not diet, but nutrition. I still live by like that today. And when doing so, I also exposed the traumas. They could come up and resurface so I could see them in their purest form, because all of our allergies, Crohn's disease, what do you call that in English? Stofskifte? What do you call stofskifte? Metabolism. Our metabolism, the cancer, the autoimmune diseases, the wheat intolerances, the allergies, all of it is caused by unhealed trauma, because unhealed trauma is a foreign theme in our body, fremmedlegeme, which I can't translate into English, a foreign thing. The body goes, but there's something here I don't understand. What's that? And the body can't regenerate or rejuvenate or heal itself. So every health challenge that we are having is unhealed trauma and fear and neglect. And many people say, I have had the most perfect childhood. No, you haven't. You cannot have had the most perfect childhood when you are struggling with perfectionism, oversharing, overgiving, self-sacrificing, low self-esteem and inadequacy and doubt and fear. Those are all signs of unhealed trauma. And we all have had experienced traumas in different sizes and in different ways. For many years, people have said you can't have PTSD, which I don't have anymore. I've had complex PTSD, and some shitheads of psychologists out there would even say to my military friends, have you shot someone being in war? And my friends, many of them would say, no. Have you been shot at? The fucking psychologist would say, and they would say no. And then the freaking fucking psychologist would say, then you don't have PTSD. What the fuck? Complex PTSD. Many of us have that today, just by living in this fucked up, traumatized world created by a man for men. Many women who have, sought me out, getting my help, have been in an abusive relationship or marriage. It might not be physical, but it could be mentally or psychological, violent relationship. Do you think they have complex PTSD? Of course they do. Their children does as well. A client just told me about what happened when she was on a holiday with her ex-husband and her children. He tried to hit her girl. They are all traumatized today, but not just because of one accident, but things that are being built up. Being exposed to neglect, or violence or abuse or traumas, little by little, it builds up, for fuck's sake. So many of us, without even knowing it, have complex PTSD. So do you have ADHD or do you have complex PTSD, as the symptoms are the same? Do you have ADHD or complex PTSD, or are you just like me, a very sensitive, hypersensitive person? Because they're also all three connected. So please stop looking for answers out here, for fuck's sake. Let go of the narrative of assuming that a doctor will help you, a psychologist will give you the tools. I once sought out a psychiatrist and I said, I want to get some tools for my complex PTSD. Will you please help me? And when he heard in Silkeborg that I was spiritual, he closed off, like he had seen a demon, or I had awakened his inner demons, and he said, I can't help you. I said, what the fuck? He said, I can't help you. And I said, do you discriminate with all women? And what about, how do you call it? Immigrant. I can't find another word. I'm so sorry, guys. Do you also discriminate your female immigrants or people coming from other countries? What about if there's a Muslim sitting here? Won't you have her, or a Jew? And then next day I found out that he was fucked up and at a center for mentally challenged people, he would abuse them there as well. So please stop giving away your power and assuming that your work made you ill when it wasn't your work that made you ill, or your ex made you ill or gave you complex PTSD. Because no, at the end of that stick, someone caused, someone did, someone exposed, they did. There's always you and me and our unhealed trauma and our lack of boundaries and our low self-esteem, our self-sacrificing, pleasing tendencies, our lack of being our unavailable, how do you say that? Our unavailability when it comes to ourselves. We're not physically embodied within ourselves, and we can't start healing and feel better if we're not connected to this physical thing called our body. You have a body because it's your home. You have a body, you need to respect it and take good care of it. And please take back your power and realize that you have made yourself ill without even doing it deliberately, just 1 milligram. You didn't do it. You did it because of fear. We have all been more blinded than fear than we are now. We have all been more living in blindness, navigating in blindness. We've lived by blind faith, and that is you and me that has to change that. We have to grow up, and this decade was about that. Becoming more spiritually responsible, more emotionally responsible, more mentally responsible, life-wise responsible, and mature, of course, mature and responsible, all of them, physically and emotionally mature and responsible, emotionally mature and responsible. This is what this past decade has been about, growing freaking fucking up. This year was wrapping up those chapters, wrapping up those unhealed themes. It was about seeing ourselves from the outside. And sometimes you know that when you have been through pain, like my clients this week, what does pain do? It blinds us. It freezes us. If you experienced a trauma when you were 7 or 1 year old or 2 or 3 or 7 years old, emotionally you aren't older than that. You've never aged since that. And I am the living proof of it, and all of my thousands and thousands and thousands of clients are the proof of it. The day that when you experienced your trauma, you froze in time and have not evolved emotionally since that. So the next time you go on a date with someone, listen, for fuck's sake. You have 2 freaking fucking ears. See, I have 2 ears. You have ears to listen with them, for fuck's sake. Listen to what your date is saying. Have they closed the door to the past? They don't want to talk about the mom and dad and unhealthy patterns. They blame and shame their ex. Run. Freaking fucking run. I like my ears. I've always wanted to have big ears, and I think they're cute. Now I look like a little elf. I don't care. I'm gonna let my ears stay like that because I think they're cute. Are you still here, Linda? Do you have a question about the year or what has been going on in that past 9 years? Imagine if someone goes on right now and they see my ears sitting like that, but they don't know I did it deliberately because I like them. Please take back your power moving forward. Please do whatever you can to step into your spiritual purpose. Please make sure you find a mission and a vision that will lift you day by day. So when you're lying out there in foster position, hugging and crying, and perhaps you have a thumb in your mouth, that's okay, you have those experiences and days, but just don't make sure you don't stay down there, for fuck's sake. But make sure you make it as a poster so that when you look at the wall, you have your mission and your vision and your purpose written down so you know where you go to. Your mission and your purpose is your North Star to navigate by when you get lost. You need it, for fuck's sake, because the minute you step into your purpose and become your purpose, the universe knows that you're a part of it all. You've chosen that pathway and you will both be protected and lifted and feel more safe and loved, because when you step into your divine purpose, you can become the divine who holds you and supports you and are there for you. And I'm here to help you, teach you how to step in here and become your purpose. Your purpose is not out here. It's not more diplomas. It's you. Hi, Vincent, and welcome. Your purpose is you becoming more of who you were meant to be, and you can't become more of who you're meant to be and why you came back when you're covered up in your family's shit and traumas and fear, your ancestral trauma and karma. I'm gonna tuck those in again, so no one thinks that I'm an elf. I love teaching online. I love helping women, and I love what I do despite 19 and a half years has passed. I love teaching online. I'm about to make my vision and mission for the new year, how it's going to work out, what I want to achieve, who I want to help. That I already know. That means I had to let go of 3 clients this fall. I don't want to work with men anymore. I'm so sorry, guys, but I'm done. I've wanted to work with men for many years, but no thank you, I'm done. I'm not going to say anything more about that. I've been helping 99.9% of all my clients have been women the past almost 20 years. That's not going to change. I tried. I can succeed with it. And I'm done. That's the Christmas present that I'm giving to myself, this huge shift, this huge upgrade, this distancing myself from the life that I have lived to become someone else. As I told you yesterday, I can't even go back because that version of me have been washed away. That's where I'm in a gap. That's it. I'm in a gap right now. Some of you will experience, thank you so much. Thank you, Linda. And remember, Linda, that if you sign up before the year ends, you're going to get a bigger discount, because I want to acknowledge you for wanting to work with me in the new year. Oh, fuck. I lost the topic. Fuck. Yeah. What are you going to gift yourself with this Christmas? What are the new changes that you are going to make? The women that I just helped, who are going through a horrible divorce that doesn't end, it doesn't come to a closure, that's what I can help them with. I had to help them understand who they were and why they attracted that partner. I had to help them see how they were irresponsible, just like I have been in the past, living in blindness, living in ignorance, not taking responsibility, men who have abused them in many ways and have controlled them financially, and now they're paying the price. Those women, I first of all energetically had to release of the old and put up here so that they can become a new woman, the best, strongest self, connected to their, in the future, divine self. And from there, the divorce can change into something better and they can get the final closure that they want. But as long as you and I are still our old wounded self, nothing will ever change to the better. Does that make sense? So promise me for your own sake, change, 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 upgrade, upgrade, upgrade yourself. Lift, 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 lift yourself to the best that you can do. Linda is saying, I'm looking forward to receiving your support and guidance in the new year. Beautiful soul. Thank you so much, Linda, for joining. And all of you, hi Helle, I've never ever made 24 videos in English. I have made the Christmas calendar as a video in Danish. I'm done. Can you hear that? My lunch is always also coming up again. Yeah, I'm done. I need to go for a walk. I've never made 24 videos before in English, and I hope you appreciate them. I hope you will leave me a comment also here on Instagram, on YouTube. Please share them with other people who is going through hell and also have the feeling that this year has been fucked up. I'm here. I still do the psychic readings, but not for long. Psychic readings will not be a part of the future business that I'm going to run. You have to sign up for an ongoing program in order to get my help. So make sure that you gift yourself with a psychic reading. It can be about love and relationship. It can be about ancestral trauma that I will release you from. It could be a destiny and purpose reading. I will do that for a little time, moving on for a couple of weeks, and then everything will change so that I can take better care of myself and help more women become their purpose. The future is not feminine. The now is feminine. It's already here. Us stepping into a feminine leadership with compassion, and especially compassion for ourselves first and foremost. So it's easy to be compassionate with this fucked up, masculine, traumatized world. Merry Christmas, dear soul. Thank you so much for dropping by. It was a long video today, but it was also the final one. Thank you for dropping by, and thank you for sending me some love, as the Christmas is never easy on me without a family. Merry Christmas.